Previously on the all-new adventures of the Doctor Who Book Club podcast.
Oh no, this is where we find out what we're doing next month.
Yeah, it is. And
oh dear. Do I need to brace myself?
no, I think it'll be fine.
Okay.
So for the month of April, we're going to be reading More Short Trips,
Yay!
edited by Stephen Cole.
Ooh, and there's somebody here I've got a story about,
Ooh.
which I'll share you next week. Or next month, rather. That's a tantalising one for you.
Cool.
A strange event that happened 20 years ago, almost to the day. It's a cliffhanger, isn't it?
And now our story continues.
Adventures of the Doctor Who Book Club podcast. This is Matt in Minnesota.
Chris in South London.
Chris, how's it going?
It's nice. I have heard the first ice cream van of the year today, which is lovely.
A herald of summertime.
It is.
I think it was after listening to a Big Finish 8th Doctor audio where there was like a creepy ice cream van patrolling a neighborhood that I realized that the UK has a different theme tune that the ice cream trucks play over there compared to what they have here in the States.
Yeah, it's mostly over here Greensleeves, which is a piece of music that was allegedly made by Henry VIII. I suspect it probably wasn't, but it is claimed that he wrote it. And unfortunately, I don't have any musical talent, so I'm not going to give you a rendition. But yeah, go and have a look for Greensleeves, and you kind of go, oh yeah, I hear that all the time. At least you do if you're in the UK. And soon, I am sure I'll be seeing the first bare-chested man wandering around. And you just got to go, oh no.
Unless you don't mind that.
Well, if you have a particular taste for white blokes in their late 50s to early 60s,
no.
Yes, yeah,
maybe not.
It's just where you're like, no, nobody wants to see this. Please don't. And then we'll have it for about 4 or 5 months, and they'll be kind of red, and the skin will be peeling, and then winter will come. Yay! It's kind of 19 degrees Celsius. So what's that? 70s Fahrenheit?
Oh, wow.
Maybe?
Yeah, it's 28 degrees here.
Oh, okay. Right.
Fahrenheit, which would be...
Yeah, that's cold.
But at least these snowbanks have melted and stuff.
Cool.
So what do you have for show and tell this month?
So, March. I think it's been a crazy month. So I would whittle it down, but March was just fantastic. So I went to the Comic-Con in Kensington Olympia, where William Russell signed sort of Mild Curiosities, which is the short story compilation, including a short story by me. And I also had a photo with Colin Sylvester and a TARDIS console, and met friend of the show Sophie Isles in person for the first time. And she was the lady who commissioned me for More Curiosities.
And you can hear her on our January podcast, I think.
Yes. And she also rocked up at the Macra Terra screening that we went to, which was really good. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the Macra Terra because I think for quite a few people, it's basically a new story. Certainly, I read the Target novelation years ago, and I couldn't remember all the twists and turns and everything. But it's funny. It's probably good.
My Blu-ray copy is on its way from the UK. It should hopefully be here by Monday or in a couple days. So
okay,
I'm excited to finally see it. That one was written by someone who worked on the Prisoner series, wasn't it? Because I think there are a lot of comparisons you can make to the Society and the Macra Terra and the Village.
Yeah, Ian Stuart Black. Yeah, and also rather wonderfully, the director of it is still with us, and he was at the Q&A.
Oh, cool.
Which was just brilliant, even though obviously he's not directed the animation, but he directed the audio. And Annika Wills was there, and it's always fabulous to kind of like hear her talk. And there was also one of the cheerleaders was there in the audience as well, which is fantastic. And it was the first time they'd ever met, even though they'd been on the Macro Terror, but they were never actually in studio at the same time.
Huh.
It was interesting. And then for my birthday, my wife got me what I think will probably be my show and tell if we're going to record this in like a big spreadsheet of everybody's show and tells. She got me a picture of me as the Doctor with a few doctory props drawn by Sophie.
Oh, like a commission piece.
A commission piece, yes.
You sent me a preview of it, and it looks fantastic.
Yeah, oh, it's gorgeous. Yeah, I'm kind of wearing mostly Matt Smith's costume, but there's also there's a Sylvester McCoy pullover and an umbrella. It's just great. I was just chuffed a bit when I saw that. I just couldn't believe it.
Are you going to share it out, or are you going to keep it for yourself?
I think I will share it out when this kind of comes. Yeah, I'll make sure this goes out on the various social media. Yeah, I've already put it on my own personal Facebook page. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
Really cool.
So yeah, that's my show and tell. Sorry, very rambly one, but yeah, March had a lot of stuff in it that was Doctor Who shows, and that's not even mentioning Bookworm, which I've started reading, which is excellent, that we plugged on the show last month. But yeah, how about you, Matt?
So for my show and tell this month, I'm going to talk about a Tupperware container in my kitchen.
Okay. Is it transcendental?
Sort of. So inside it is 3.5 pounds of sand, and I weighed it the other day to check, right. From Southern Down Beach in Wales. So 10 years ago to the very weekend, I was last there. So it was a 10-day trip that I took with my then boyfriend, now husband, Matt. To visit his brother, who is spending 6 months in a little town outside of Reading, working at a pub hotel on a work visa. So we were there. I've got lots of stories from the trip, visiting several locations around both London and Cardiff. And, of course, the early version of the Doctor Who experience when it was just a little baby. But and this would have been around the same time that they were filming End of Time, so just before Children of Earth had aired, so there was no Yanto Shrine by the Hub yet when we visited that. But yeah, we went to several Doctor Who locations, and one of them was driving out to Southern Down Beach, quite a bit of ways outside of Cardiff, and we got lost. I remember there being roundabouts involved and driving on the other side of the road, and it being very stressful, but we got there, and of course that's the beach where they filmed
it's Bad Wolf Bay,
Bad Wolf Bay or Darlig Bay in the show. That's filming it looking one way, and if you look back the other way, it's where they filmed or where they would go on to film Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone, with the crash of the Byzantium, with the 11th Doctor, and I think they even filmed some Capaldi stuff there. It's just really beautiful and breathtaking. But yeah, I brought a Tupperware with me and filled it with sand. And if you think that's crazy, I also co-host a podcast that reviews Doctor Who tie-in media. But so I probably broke some sort of importing native soil restriction somewhere, I'm sure. But over the years, I've donated vials of it to different charity auctions at sci-fi conventions.
Oh, cool.
So I even took pictures of me collecting the sand, which I post with the auctions and stuff. So it makes a very unique Doctor Who collectible. But but yeah, I still have 3.5 pounds of it in my cupboard.
Right. Gosh.
And I hope to someday have a similar Tupperware of black sand from Bethel's Beach outside of Auckland, New Zealand someday. That's where they filmed several episodes of Hercules and Xena back in the day. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that's my really weird... I was like, it's 10 years to the very day almost, and I was looking for some Tupperware last night. I was like, it was at the back of the cupboard, and I was like, I should talk about this on the show.
Yeah.
So
cool.
So yeah, so this month we are reading More Short Trips, which was published in March of 1999, so it's officially 20 years old as of last month. Mm-hmm. And the official theme was stories of differing degrees of shortness. Which is saying something, because it was quite a long book.
Yes, and also differing degrees of, does this actually happen?
Yeah, kind of. There's a few head scratchers in here.
Yes, yeah. Yes.
And this was edited by Stephen Cole, who also wrote a story under the pseudonym Tara Sams for it. I'm not sure if any of the other are pseudonyms as well. I think the other people are all real.
Yes, though some of them haven't. Yeah, some of them have not written much for Doctor Who apart from here.
And unfortunately, all male authors, but that was pretty reflective of the range as a whole at the time, I think.
Yeah.
So, shall we get out the TARDIS timer?
Yeah, that's. I like the short stories because we have to TARDIS timer, which is always great.
And so I think I'll set it for, I think, 4 minutes per story. Does that?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, some of them will be under.
Mm-hmm. Some may be a little over.
Yes.
And then I think we'll maybe talk for a minute or so about the author and then recap it and then kind of share our thoughts. So
yeah, cool.
Let's begin. The first story is Totem.
Yeah.
And this is the one by Tara Sams / Steve Cole.
Yeah.
And Steve Cole, we've talked about several times before on the podcast, and you can go back to 10 Little Aliens to get his full bio. But he was I think he was he the editor of The Range at this time? And
yeah, he's outgoing. Because there's a foreword in the book saying that this is kind of like him saying goodbye, and like Justin Richards was taking over.
And it's set in Funchal, Portugal, which is like a...
Is it on one of the islands near Madeira, possibly? Though it's set in a kind of like a Hispanic / Iberian-y kind of place. It could equally be Latin America. It's quite stylized in a strange way.
And this is a story featuring the Eighth Doctor.
Yeah, he sort of appears to a widow in this kind of farm area somewhere outside Funchal, and sort of basically is kind of helping her doing labour around. And she has a bit of a mystery in that her husband disappeared under mysterious circumstances and is presumably dead. She discovers that he's having conversations, possibly with somebody, at night away from the farmstead. It's all a bit weird and nothing gets explained.
Yeah, the Eighth Doctor's newly regenerated, and it sounds like he's having conversations with his immediate former self. Probably took it to be the Seventh Doctor, but I don't think it was actually the Seventh Doctor visiting him in person. But it's really just kind of the Eighth Doctor recouping after his regeneration and helping this widow out.
They're kind of like helping each other.
He eventually finds her husband's body on the island, and it looks like he was murdered, potentially. But
possibly by her.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was going to go that direction or not. But it just the story kind of ends.
It's enjoyable. It's a bit odd. I mean, for me, it feels like if Robert Rodriguez was going to do a Doctor Who story, it has that vibe of kind of like Desperado or something like that, but just with the Eighth Doctor and less violence. It's an interesting little piece.
Mm-hmm. Well, we still have 30 seconds on the timer. I don't know that.
Well, it's a slight one as well, isn't it? But yeah, it's pleasant. You know, there are worse things to read, some of which are in this book.
Yeah, it was a interesting character piece to open it, I think.
Yeah, right.
So we will move on to Scientific Advisor by Ian Atkins.
Yeah. And Ian Atkins, he's works at Big Finish pretty much these days, doesn't he? So he's worked on a few short trip stories, and he's also producer's assistant for them. Though this is, I think, his only written story, sort of like in prose, as opposed to kind of like an actual kind of audio. Sorry, I said that in a very convoluted way, but I think you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, the book has different author bios at the end, and his includes the details. So this is, again, 20 years ago, but 29, tall and slim, likes chocolate, music, and genre TV.
And also is looking for a long-term relationship with an agent.
Yeah. So this is a second Doctor story, And
Yes.
I think it's a season 6B story. It's set in the early 1990s and has to do with the second Doctor. He's an attaché to like a movie set. And he's like the military or scientific advisor for an adaptation of the Cyberman invasion from the 1960s. He's sent there by the Brigadier as like a unit misinformation campaign. And there's a little girl in this story whose name is Kate. And at first I thought it was, oh, that's Kate Lethbridge-Stewart. Yeah, I got all excited for a second, but no, it's a different Kate.
Yeah, it's really confusing, isn't it? Because also, it's not clear, I think, like when she makes her appearance as to whose daughter she is. And then you just kind of go back like, oh, okay. I had to reread bits of it.
And the girl is like a spy, I guess, for the Cybermen, or she was taken over as like a recon unit.
Yeah, she's got like a tracking device sort of implanted in her. And
kind of like the girl from Remembrance.
Yes, very much like the girl from Remembrance. Yes. Yeah, and so the Doctor kind of gives some hints as to how best to do an invasion, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And the cyber army realise that they don't have the resources to do any of this, and so they just give up.
Yeah, that was kind of clever, where his suggestions were like the cyber computers running them, and it's like, chance of invasion success increasing 10%. Every time he adds another variable, he's like, oh, they should have done it this way.
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't have the resources in the end to invade.
Yeah, it's an interesting piece, isn't it?
I guess I give it props for being set in season 6B. I kind of like when some of the short stories take opportunities, and there's quite a few in this collection where they use like Doctor companion pairings that aren't featured in the show as often. There's so much Mel in this book that I'm surprised she's not on the cover.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice, isn't it? There's 3 Mel stories.
Or 4 if the one split into 2.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
But in terms of... Oh, we're at the...
there we go.
Yeah, this is interesting, I would say.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's not something you need to seek out, but it's... Right, so I think this brings us on to Missing Part 1, Business as Usual, by Gary Russell, who is obviously no stranger to Doctor Who. We've done one of his books before, which was a 12th Doctor novel set in Australia, the name of which escapes me, but it was a Duran Duran song, wasn't it?
Big Bang Generation.
Yes, that was it, yes.
And of course, Gary was the showrunner for Big Finish, or executive producer, you could say, for the first 100 or so titles in the range before Nick Briggs took over.
Yeah.
And this is a short epilogue to Business Unusual, which is a book that Gary Russell wrote, and then is also set after Steve Lyons' Head Games, which kind of features like Mel, where is she now, sort of.
Yeah, it's Mel kind of coming home, and so she's in a cafe in Brighton on a real road. I don't know whether it's a real cafe, but it is a road that actually exists, because Pease Pottage is not that far away from Brighton. And I remember my very first drive to Brighton, seeing Pease Pottage along the way, and I thought, oh, that's where Mel is from. And like, if Mel was a character I liked, I'd have been excited. But yeah, so. A cop sort of greets her, and they have a conversation about the fact that she's finally come home to stay after kind of a few years travelling with the Doctor. Also, she has been, when she's been travelling, she's been sending postcards to her parents, like whenever she's kind of rocked up in the kind of like in sort of late 80s and early 90s, which would kind of suggest that she will still be sending postcards. Like if she rocks up in like 95 or 96, that she might send a postcard just in case.
And I think there's even a reference to that in the story, that she's got a few postcards yet to come that are going to be delivered. And it also features a mention of Trey Corte, who is a fan from the Milwaukee area.
Oh, cool.
I first met him at Convergence back in 1999 when Gary Russell launched the Big Finish Doctor Who range there at that convention. And yeah, it's kind of cool seeing him get name-checked in... He's kind of a Tomorrow People sort of character who's in a couple of Gary's books.
Yes, I just read about him now, yeah. Because I just assumed that was a throwaway reference.
But this story is kind of just an interesting look at a former companion just beginning the journey to adjust back to normal life. And I think the cop is a character left over from Business Unusual, which I haven't read yet, so I'm not super familiar with him. But it's a fun kind of just set piece.
Yeah, it's nice. It's harmless. It won't frighten the horses, yeah.
All right. Well, we still have about a minute, but we'll...
This is always going to be one of the shorter ones. I mean, we could read it in 4 minutes, couldn't we?
Yeah.
But yes.
So
right.
Our next story is Moon Graffiti by Dave Stone.
Yes. Is this our first Dave Stone story? I think it might be.
I think we had a short story from him in the
Oh,
first short trips,
okay.
having to do with the Fifth Doctor and navigating like a sailing ship sort of thing. But
yes.
And this is where our first of 2 dramatic readings comes in for the month. This is what was originally available on the Out of Darkness CD, which at the time was controversial because it didn't also come out on audio cassette. But and that's the same collection that features Wish You Were Here, which was from the first Short Trips collection, and that had an audio exclusive story called Vigil as part of it. And although Colin Baker and Nicola Bryant worked together, numerous times in the 90s on different kind of Doctor Who related spin-off projects, this was the first time since 1986 that they reunited to perform as the Doctor and Perry. And it also predates by a year their first work together for Big Finish, which I think was Whispers of Terror. So yeah, this is by Colin Baker and Nicola Bryant, and it's now available as part of Volume 1 of the Tales of the TARDIS audiobook collection, which you can still find on iTunes, Audible, and other services. So here we go.
You said this was Earth. This isn't Earth. How can this be Earth?
You're just subconsciously expecting it to be the world you remember. The Earth, as such, doesn't enter into it. Well, except in purely galactographic terms. This is just a place that used to have that name. We're several tens of thousands of years beyond your particular time frame, Perry. More than enough to make your own personal dating system completely and utterly meaningless. Ages, eons, and entire civilizations have come and gone, and never given what you know of your world so much as a second thought.
So what are we doing here?
The TARDIS needs recalibration. In the occasional lapses of my post-regenerative state, I damaged the old girl rather more than I thought, and acquiring a supply of Zyton 7 from Varos was only one of our problems. Several key control systems are still severely disrupted. Well, I believe you've experienced some of the knock-on effects of that yourself of late.
If you mean not having had a proper meal in days, then you're right. The utilities in the kitchen have turned into a thing, which presented me with a tray of carpet-tack sandwiches and a bowl of what could have been pureed sprouts with a daffodil stuck in. And I'm not even going to tell you about what was in the swimming pool last time I looked. If all these little things are going wrong, what's happening to the things that keep us alive up there?
The problem is, everything I do to fix the old girl merely breaks something else, including her ability to tell if something actually needs to be repaired or not. We're stuck in a classic catastrophe of regression. What we need is an external factor that can serve as a benchmark.
And we're going to find that out here? In this wreck?
This is one of the places where the item I'm looking for has been known to occur. The easiest place to get to, all things considered. I just wish it had been at a time when the Earth was in better circumstances. Look up there.
What am I supposed to be... The moon! What have they done to the moon?
So what happened to the moon? It's got spray painted with graffiti by these invaders called the Pararachnids. And you've got an interesting thing where this is set during one of several times that the Earth was uninhabited. So think like Ravalox or the Sontaran experiment, where there's just a small number of humans still on the planet. And they're kept underground in kind of suspended animation. But this was a really creepy image, I thought, where you have what's this concept of the line, where you have almost like zombified patients who are hooked up to IV, kind of like the partially converted, cyber patients in Capaldi's final story, The Doctor Falls.
Yeah, though I think for me, I get distracted by, in amongst all of this creepiness, we've got this minute ship of explorers called the Wibbly Wee that are also getting involved with things, and they're wanting to repair their ship. And certainly, whenever the Wibbly Wee appear, that just brings me out of it. I think it's supposed to be amusing, but just like, what?
It's a Dave Stone thing, I think. And those miniature ships, I mean, it reminds me of both like Fear Her and the Mike Tucker story from the first short trips with the little probes that were causing havoc with the Master. But
well, there was also wasn't there going to be at one point a Sixth Doctor TV story featuring a microverse? It was going to be filmed in, I think, possibly New Orleans or something. And there was a microverse and a macroverse, and we were in the macroverse, and there were these like little minute ships. So for some reason, it's this idea that just seems to stick with Colin Baker's Doctor. Yeah.
Oh, and there's the timer.
There's the TARDIS. Yes. Yeah.
I guess the other thing I would just mention too is that the big crunch isn't a thing. I know it's kind of a cornerstone of the New Adventures in framework, but in I think it was by the late 90s, it was pretty well understood that the universe is expanding and continuing to expand, and unfortunately is not going to crunch back in on itself. So that was one of several possible hypotheses at the time, but just in case anyone's thinking that the big crunch is going to happen someday, it's not.
No, unfortunately.
I mean, it's a cool. I mean, because that's kind of sets up the whole. The Eternals are from the previous Big Crunch, and But anyway, let's move on to our next story, shall we?
Yes. What is our next story? I'm losing track.
That is One Bad Apple by Simon A. Forward.
Oh, yes. Featuring your favourite TARDIS crew.
Fortunately, no scene set inside Leela's head, so that helped out a little bit. But this is the Fourth Doctor and Leela. So Simon Forward, he did some computer programming back in the day. I'm just looking at his bio. I think he's written some other...
He has. He's written some novels since. So he wrote Emotional Chemistry for the Eighth Doctor and also Drift, which is a Fourth Doctor and Leela story. And he's done some Big Finish audios as well as a Benny audio called Grey's Anatomy, presumably not related to the TV show. So yeah.
So this story features, it's a kind of a cool setup where you have a water planet that has 95% water, but there's a small island of like archipelago. And it also has higher gravity, so I like how that affects Leela throughout the story, but the Doctor's kind of unaffected. And the islands are populated by intelligent Ankylosaurus kind of pangolin sort of creatures with armor plating. And the planet was attempted to have been invaded by the Cybermen at one time, but they have like a derelict ship in orbit, and the creatures were able to fend off the attack. And now there's another group of sort of Cybermen called Fusiliers, is that how you'd say it? The Fusiliers, which are partially converted religious Cybermen with very like Mormon sounding names, like John and Caleb and Jericho and names like that. It's really sad. There's like a fruit, like the creatures store their information in different fruit that's grown on the different islands. So Leela eats of one fruit, and that she's able to understand these creatures' language. The TARDIS translation circuits aren't working.
There's a kind of air of melancholy when one of the soldiers, sort of when he eats the fruit, the emotional part of his brain kicks back in, and then he just realizes how many people he's killed and the impact it would have on society. Yeah, it's a very sort of poignant thing. So the Fusiliers stick around on the planet to kind of protect it from future invaders, and then the kind of like the natives just returned to living their life. Yeah, it's quite a sweet story, isn't it? And it's such a cool use of the setting of the Cyber Wars. Yeah, the fact that you just have the Cybermen there as a presence, but it's almost like a historical setting. I think this is good fun.
Yeah, I think it is really strong world building, and it's just kind of there's misunderstandings on the part of the Fusiliers in terms of these creatures being intelligent, and once that's resolved, then they protect them, which is nice.
Yeah, it's not so much a bad apple, just more of a good egg.
And there's the timer.
Yeah, cool.
All right. So our next story
is 64 Carlisle Street, which is written by Gary Russell, who we've already mentioned, and has got the First Doctor, Stephen and Dodo in it. Yeah, it's told in an interesting way. They're kind of visiting 64 Carlisle Street at some point in what seems to be kind of Victorian Edwardian time.
Figured out it was 1909 after they said something like there was some event that happened 4 years prior, so I looked up when that was, and it was, so like very Edwardian kind of upstairs, downstairs sort of feeling to this.
Oh, yes. And you see it primarily from the point of view of the staff in the house of 64 Carlisle Street.
Kind of told in a series of witness statements or like diary entries from the people that work there. So both the lords of the house, but then also the servants. And there's not a lot of Doctor in this.
No.
I think the First Doctor's barely in it, and Dodo works undercover as like a scullery maid as part of this house. And by the end of the story, it's revealed that it's a mental institution, or what at the time would have been like an
asylum or something they might have called it in those days.
There's some sort of possession going on.
Yeah, and there's also the Doctor and chums are hunting this time-travelling alien who's escaped from Quinnis, which is a planet that the First Doctor and Susan visited before the TV show started, because there's a reference to Quinnis in, I think it's An Unearthly Child.
I wonder if there's a Big Finish story.
There may be. Yes, by Mark Platt. So you have this. It's got this kind of odd Ghostlight vibe, hasn't it? I think if you like Ghostlight, but if you wanted to kind of read witness statements, this is the story for you.
If there's one theme in this book, it's most of the stories are set on Earth. I think all but 2 or 3 are set off world of the 18. But then there's a high number of stories that are set within either a haunted house or a haunted mansion, or there's a lot of like Gothic homes in this in this short story collection.
Yeah, I mean that's a good way to do a short story. Just do it in a trapping that you're familiar with. But it's always nice to have your imagination expanded, which is why I think I prefer One Bad Apple to this story, because at least One Bad Apple you're exploring a new world, whereas this is like this is Ghostlight. Yeah, to a degree. And also, the owner of the house is Dr. Grayson. And whenever I started seeing the name, I was thinking Greystoke, which is the family from Tarzan.
Yes.
And it was just snapping me out of it.
Strangely, one of the first movies I saw as a kid was Greystoke, Legend of Tarzan.
Yes.
And it was like not age appropriate for me to see that with Christopher Lambert.
Yeah, and Andy McDowell making her screen debut, but she's overdubbed because they didn't like her voice.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, shall we? We've got it like 10 seconds left. Shall we move on to?
No, I have nothing further to say on this one. Sorry, Gary, if you're listening.
So we turn from a Gothic mansion to another Gothic mansion.
Yes.
In The Eternity Contract by Steve Lyons, which is a Fifth Doctor and Nyssa story.
Yeah, all your favourite TARDIS crews are in this, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. So, so Steve Lyons, creator of Grant Markham, who is a Sixth Doctor companion, he's written several novels and Big Finish audios.
Yeah.
Known for, I think, possibly like more violent and gritty tales. I would kind of characterize some of his...
Also humorous ones as well. It's like Conundrum and stuff. But yeah.
His Cybermen one and Time of Your Life were very kinda... Although they were reflective of they were very Sayward era in that respect too. But so this is like a mansion, but it's like a construct. So it's
it's very Fifth Doctor-y. It's a bit like Castrovalva, isn't it?
In a pocket dimension, and you have a house where all the residents are from 1999. The house holds 6 guests, but with the Fifth Doctor and Nyssa arriving, there are 8. There's a creature in the basement that comes out and hunts, and so there's always no more than 6 people there. So you're introduced to the various characters, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of Ghostlight or Knock Knock or Heaven Sent, if there were a bunch of other annoying people in the construct with the Doctor.
Yeah.
And I thought this one was somewhat dull at first, but it kind of grew on me as I was reading it. But it does end quite abruptly as well. Just kind of stops.
Yeah, which sometimes does happen with short stories, particularly Doctor Who short stories. But yeah, I do enjoy what Steve Lyne's doing with the entity that's in charge, and also the Doctor as well doesn't seem to quite believe in death. However, the Seventh Doctor will spend quite a bit of time with death with a capital D. Yeah, I thought it was fun, but I didn't find it dull. I was quite intrigued as to what was going on. I found it a bit of a kind of a head scratcher, but I do quite like Gothic stuff, but also because there was a little bit of a twist. I can see why you say Ghostlight, even though I felt that Carlisle Street was a little bit more like it. But I do like my puzzle stories, and this is definitely one of those.
And I think the Fifth Doctor and Nyssa, their characterization is spot on. So I mean, that was,
which may be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on your feelings about that. But yeah,
so we'll, I think we're good on this one.
Yeah, I think we're good.
So let's turn from a haunted Gothic mansion to a haunted cottage in the Lake District.
Yeah. We have the So in Rut, which is a weird title. It's the name of a pub in this story by Robert Perry and Mike Tucker, who wrote quite a few Seventh Doctor novels and stories for the BBC books. And this is another episode of K9 and Company. So, excitement abounds.
We have Sarah renting this cottage, and K9's there, and Brendan who's is it Sarah's nephew?
Or whatever, yeah.
Ward.
Ward. Weird young person hanging on. Yeah.
Has installed a bunch of computer games and audiobooks and I guess not MP3s, but Sarah's got her music collection in K9 now, so he's acting as a bit of a jukebox. And Sarah ends up going down to the pub where she runs into the scary, old...
stereotypical gypsy lady, yes.
Who's trying to thrust, bundles of heather upon her. And Sarah eventually goes back to the cottage, and there's tales of like pigs being possessed, and then K9 gets possessed, that part was pretty creepy. And then there's like this whole like Sweeney Todd element going on where I guess people were being fed to the pigs or some sort of weird
but also you then kind of find out that maybe this might all just be the computer games on K9 kind of going a little bit mad with some kind of weird computer virus, or maybe it is a haunting, and
kind of left up as a question. Interpretation.
But my question is, like, why, when we're doing... A, why are we doing K9 Company? B, why does it always have to be some kind of supernaturally witch thing?
Yeah.
Can we not do something else with these characters?
Maybe that was like the only acceptable like antagonist for like if you had a female protagonist, because I think of like the 1980s Supergirl movie, and that had an 80s witch as its antagonist as well. It's like,
can't we do something else?
Yeah.
And also, why does Sarah Jane have the Spice Girls installed on K9?
That's a little incongruous in terms of time period. Unless she jumped ahead in the future and... Yeah,
or maybe like she and Brendan, like they've been friends or whatever their relationship is for nearly 20 years. It just makes you feel sad for Sarah. It's just like, you've not moved on. You've got yourself stuck in a rut at the sewing rut. Oh, dearie dear. This is not a good use of Sarah, I don't think. But you're right. The stuff from K9 is creepy. But yeah, it's just like when people start thrusting heather into people's hands, there's like, oh, there's a local saying. It's like, oh, no.
So let's move on then to...
Yes!
Special Weapons by Paul Leonard.
Yes. Yeah, so Paul Leonard's written many books for Virgin and BBC range. So including Genocide, which is an 8th Doctor book, and we've not done a Paul Leonard book as yet. We nearly have on a couple of occasions, and then I've thought better of it.
I've read 2 of his. I've read Venusian Lullaby and Dancing the Code, and I liked both of them. Venusian Lullaby is really strange. It's like the web planet.
Yes, and has aliens with brackets in their name. Fortunately, we don't have any of that in this. Yeah, so got the Seventh Doctor and Mel. Yay.
It's a longer story, too. It's 7 chapters. And
Yes.
it's nice to see a 7th and Mel story, although Mel does act very Ace-like in this, because she's got some scenes of her throwing dynamite, kind of like Nitro 9.
Yeah.
So this
Pretty
story,
much.
you've got Nazis invading a English coastal village.
Yes.
They're trying to erect it's like an eradication barrier or like a bubble. And it reminded me of, there's a 3D movie from 1966 called The Bubble that's kind of has a
okay.
similar plot to this, including like trying to dig underground to see how far down the bubble extends.
Yeah, it reminds me of Under the Dome, which is a Stephen King novel that's and TV series that's both of which came out well after this. So, but I can't imagine Stephen King was inspired by Special Weapons. I think it's probably more inspired by the movie you've just referenced.
Yeah, it's I like this story more than some of the other ones in the collection. It was good. So you've got these Nazi invaders, and you've got Mel teaming up with Kid in the Village trying to rescue the Doctor who gets captured. And there's some good scenes of, the 7th Doctor versus the Nazis, so you get kind of a Curse of Fenric vibe in some of those.
Oh yeah, Paul Leonard has captured McCoy's dialogue well. I think you can definitely just hear him with his lovely Scottish accent. And sort of Mel, her pseudo companion, is quite interesting. It was this lad who may or may not be blind, and his girlfriend was killed when the barrier appeared. And there is a lot to this story, even though I was just struggling a little bit because like Pax Lucas is a weird name for an English village. So because they don't often sound quite as Latin as that, but yeah,
Maybe it was a Roman post back in the day or something.
yeah, maybe, but yeah, and also like, how did the Nazis get into England, set all this up, and it all just seems a little bit odd. It would have made more sense for it to have been an experiment in France during the war or something. So
Yeah.
it was that I just kept on kind of going, yeah, no. Even though I was just like, well, it's an interesting. It doesn't overstay its welcome, even though it's like 7 chapters, and as I say, has one of my least favourite TARDIS crews on TV in it. But yeah,
Yeah, this one for me was probably the most. Oh, we got the.
yeah,
time
finish your finish your thought.
This one for me, I would say, was probably the most like page turner.
Yeah.
Of any of the books or any of the stories where it was just really wanted to see what was happening next. So I think in terms of it being well written and hooking me, I think this one was probably top out of all of the short stories for me, at least.
Yeah, right. So now we have Honest Living by Jason Laboric, who was he's half Hungarian, and he was editing Teletubbies magazine at the time.
Which this one might be another, judging by the bio, where he says he's big on keep fit organic foods, and well, actually, he's just big. Although he protests that, contrary to popular opinion, he does not resemble Tinky Winky in the slightest. So I don't know if Jason Laboric is an acronym for.
Oh no, he wrote other.
Oh, he's a real person.
He's a real person. He's
Okay.
also been in a Big Finish audio as an actor. He's in The Wormery. He wrote for Doctor Who Battles in Time, which was a card game / comic thing during Tennant's era.
Apologies, Jason, if you're listening to this, for doubting your corporealness.
Yes. Yeah, so he's a real person, just one that doesn't often... Yeah, he did another Short Trips story, so we may encounter him again.
So this is a Third Doctor, Joe Grant, and Brigadier story. And we've got another Kate Forbes, but still no Kate Lethbridge-Stewart.
No.
And
There'll be no Kate Lethbridge in this, apologies.
And it opens at a funeral service, and you have 2 unit guards being killed. There's a haggard 15-year-old girl who breaks into unit HQ with a laser pistol, and she kidnaps Joe Grant. And the Doctor pursues them and Bessie. And then Joe is taken to like a house, or it's like a room, and she's offered oranges as like this delicacy. And this girl's name is Tuala, and she's it turns out that this is a follow-up to Day of the Daleks. So she's from 22nd century, I think. Yeah,
I think so.
23rd.
Yeah, I think so.
And she's wanting to steal some of the Doctor's circuits from his lab in the unit headquarters to stabilize their time jump equipment. So there's a lot of short time hops in this story and some timey-wiminess and some Blinovitch limitation effects going on. And
yeah, people being written in a narrative history. I think this is probably one of my favourite ones.
yeah, this is one of mine too. I'd say probably second favorite after the Bubble episode.
Yeah, it's good fun. I mean, does it bring anything really new to Day of the Daleks? No, but it's quite fun just playing with that setting and just visiting some of the potential kind of like aftermath of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's decent. It's a decent story. So unfortunately, it's one of these things that if we start going into some of the plot bits of it, we will take ages.
Yeah,
it will take a lot longer.
This is when we're like front doors are left open and then closed, and that tells you like what loop you're on in the time loop, and it's it's one that takes a little bit of a closer read, but it's a good story. Yeah,
and also like he nails the regulars. He really does. I think so. Definitely worth a read. Is this one? And it's such a shame that this is that he's not done that much for Doctor Who, because I think it's a really, really good story. So
3 seconds to spare.
3 seconds to spare. Cool. Good.
All right. So now we move on to Dead Time by Andrew Miller.
And Andrew Miller, I think this is his only Doctor Who piece of work. Yeah, apparently he was a miller. Well, is a miller. According to his biography.
Born in 1967.
Yes, born in 1967, and likes water sports and yachting. And his favourite colour is blue. So, so this is an Eighth Doctor and Sam story. It was also available on audio.
Mm-hmm. And that's where our second dramatic reading for the month comes in. This one is read by Paul McGann and was originally released on cassette, not CD, as part of the Earth and Beyond collection, which also featured The People's Temple from the first short trips, as well as an audio-exclusive story featuring Sam's first trip to the TARDIS to the Seychelles, called Bounty, which is set right after the 8 Doctors and before the Doctor drops her off for 3 years in vampire science. So this can now be found as part of Volume 2 of Tales of the TARDIS audiobook collection, which is available on iTunes, Audible, and other services. So here we go.
The TARDIS was a long way out, tumbling through space and time, when the Doctor realised that, as was so often the case when you were a wanderer in the 4th and 5th dimensions, something was wrong. An insistent beep was coming from somewhere on the wooden hexagonal console that was the heart of the TARDIS's guidance systems. "What is it, Doctor?" asked Sam. "Oh, the old girl's just being a little overcautious. We may be in for a bit of a bumpy ride, that's all. She's telling us something odd's happening to the time parameters." "What sort of odd?" asked Sam. "What's wrong now?" Things were always going wrong around the Doctor, and by now she had developed a kind of Sam Jones Richter scale of danger to measure them against. The Doctor shrugged. "Well, you know, a freak ripple effect, a Sunderland shift, something along those lines." "Oh, that's all right then," said Sam, rolling her eyes. Unaware of the sarcasm, the Doctor seemed genuinely pleased to have put his friend at ease. "There's really nothing to worry about. It's only if that red light starts flashing at the same time that we—" "This red light," said Sam in alarm, as the Doctor peered at the display Sam was pointing to. An enormous explosion threw them to the floor of the TARDIS. The protesting scream of overstretched engines sounded from somewhere deep in the heart of the ship. "Yes, that's the one," confirmed the Doctor ruefully as tremors shook through the control room. "Hold on!" The TARDIS vibrated and trembled as if afraid of where it was going. A klaxon sounded and instrumentation sparked and spluttered around them. Abruptly, the control room was plunged into darkness. Sam cried out involuntarily. The sound echoed eerily around her, then died away into silence. A chill ran through her. "Listen," she whispered in the gloom. "The TARDIS. It stopped." The comforting hum of the control room's incredible technology had been replaced by an oppressive silence. about 7.5 on the Jones Richter scale. She listened as the doctor's fingers flickered over the controls, the sounds seemingly everywhere at once. In response to his caresses, an eerie yellow luminescence bled into the grey stone TARDIS walls. In the dim emergency lighting, the doctor's face was lined with worry. "We're in deep space," he muttered. "Deepest space. There shouldn't be anything out here, not for millions of years."
Thank you, Paul, for reading
Yes,
that.
cheers, Paul. Friend of the show.
You could hear all the effects that were all part of the original production back in the time, so you can kind of hear how, just from a audiobook perspective, that they were trying to add some effects, although I think the TARDIS sound is a little bit off there, unless they were going for the TARDIS being under duress or something.
Yeah.
So we have, this one is set in kind of like a pocket dimension void, which turns out to be an ancient derelict TARDIS that the Doctor and Sam's ship had collided with. This is a cartographer from Gallifrey, and then plus you have the Forgotten, which were architects of the Matrix that are now kind of like this mind virus that jumps from Time Lord to Time Lord. And part of this story has the Doctor trying to fight off the Forgotten with help from a kind of a paradoxical near-future version of himself who helps him through it. And that bit reminded me both a little bit of Space and Time, which is the short with Amy Rory and the Doctor that was on the Blu-rays, as well as Time Crash, where the Doctor gets some important bits of information from himself. But paradoxically, you're wondering, like, well, how did he first learn that?
Yeah, and yeah, so the Doctor, when he's trying to fight off the Forgotten, has some. They're kind of traveling back through his timeline, kind of like working through all his various regenerations, and then he somehow or other traps them at the moment of his first regeneration. Yeah, I'm not quite sure I understood how he does that. But yeah, and then the story just ends, which is a bit of a shame, because I like the idea of them being trapped in this kind of ancient dead TARDIS, and there's lots of nice creepy weirdness, but it does feel for me like it's kind of it's like, oh, we're running out of page, and we ran out of time.
Yeah, I agree. There were parts of it I liked. I liked the audio more, I think, just because it was fun hearing Paul McGann say all those, as he's going back through all of his previous selves, kind of recounting all his adventures.
Yeah.
That was a fun bit.
Yeah, so next up, we have Roman's Cutaway by David McKinty. And as the name Roman's Cutaway suggests, this is set during the Romans with Vicky, Ian and Barbara and the First Doctor. And Dave McKinty we've done before with Face of the Enemy, and he does like his historicals, does Mr. McKinty. And so, I can understand why he'd want to do something in the Roman period. Begin with the TARDIS kind of falling off a cliff, as happens... Oh, what's the previous story? Is it the Web Planet?
The Rescue, I think.
Oh, the Rescue, yeah.
So Vicky's fairly new to the TARDIS crew here.
Yeah, they discover like a Roman villa, and the owner has been attacked by a lion. We also have, I think, really like the focus of this isn't so much all of these kind of like goings on with the lion. It's Ian and Barbara and their kind of relationship, and they're starting to realise that they're actually in love with each other. We also find out that Ian had a girlfriend in the past who was killed in a car crash. And it's very bittersweet.
I couldn't tell if it was his girlfriend or if it was just a recurring, because I thought it had to do with like the novelization of the Daleks by David Whitaker, where it has that alternate car crash where he comes across and he thinks a girl named Susie is is killed, but then it turns out Susan is okay. So I think that was more David McKinty trying to like retcon that alternate Target novelization opening into like a bad dream of Ian's. But I think it was kind of cool that he did that, and then there was that kind of fun scene of them climbing down the tree branches to get out of the TARDIS, and of course Ian kills the lion eventually with a boulder. But yeah, I agree, the kind of the emotional heart of this story is Ian and Barbara, and fans of mild curiosities should definitely read.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Vicky had such a positive reaction to Rome here. It's also kind of no wonder that she chooses to stay in a similar era in the Mythmakers. So I kind of drew that connection there too. And there's a cool line from Vicky about, she's never seen anyone die before when they come across the villa owner that was attacked by the lion. So you get that realization from her that traveling with the Doctor can be dangerous too. So overall I thought this was a great story. It kind of pulled together a number of different things, and it filled in a gap where you find out how they were staying at this villa for several months at the beginning of the Romans.
But it's also not just continuity for continuity's sake, and because breathes further life into Ian and Barbara. So yeah, I would very happily read some more McKinty with this TARDIS crew. And I don't think he does. I don't remember if there's any other First Doctor stuff. I'm not sure. Yeah, we haven't done Dave McKinty in a long time. Well, we're not doing it next month either. But anyway, okay. Yeah, cool. And that's TARDIS.
Cool. So our next story is Return of the Spiders by Gareth Roberts.
Yeah. Gareth Roberts is no stranger to Doctor Who, a phrase I feel I keep on saying. His bio says that he wishes someone would put Doctor Who back on television on dark Saturday evenings. Well, they did, and Gareth was one of them.
And now it's on
dark Saturday evenings,
on Sundays now, but maybe it'll move back to Saturdays. You never know.
Yeah, who knows?
And we've read 2 books by him already, so we've covered him pretty extensively. This is a 4th Doctor, 2nd Romana, and K9 story, and it's kind of a sequel to Planet of the Spiders.
Yes. So the TARDIS materializes in Surbiton, which is a suburban part of London, not far from where I'm speaking to you.
There's a great quote from the Doctor where Romana says, "I thought Earth was your favorite planet," and the Doctor says, "Oh, it is, and humans are quite my favorite species, but I've never at all been keen on suburbs, wherever in the universe they are."
Yes, yeah. And he also says that behind the net curtains in suburbia, there's nothing there apart from boredom. I'm paraphrasing it, but he does not like the suburbs. And they have a bet that Romana will be able to find something unusual happening. And sure enough, they realise that this one particular house. And I think it's on a cul-de-sac, isn't it? There's this pizza delivery boy who's been kind of delivering lots of pizza like 4 times a night for the past 2 weeks, and they break in and realise that the occupants of the house have been possessed by spiders from Metebolus or Metabolus free.
And there's a kind of a gruesome scene early where they hold a neighborhood block party or something, and it turns out the neighbors are the buffet.
Yes.
And I love that there's a nod to the K9 monster book in this too. There's kind of a call out to that.
Oh yeah, so there is. Yeah.
So there's this house, and then within the attic is the giant queen spider who has her legs protruding down into the different rooms. And the Doctor and Romana, as they're investigating, they gave K9 a warning saying, if we're not out within 15 minutes, then start raising the house to the ground. So you've got that timer kind of ticking away in the back of your mind as you're reading this. And sure enough, the Doctor and Romana need help, and there's several of the residents in the neighborhood have been cocooned, but are still alive in the basement, so that they need to be rescued. And K9 starts cutting down the house. Unfortunately, he starts with the roof where the queen spider was, but ends up raising the house to the ground.
Yeah.
And the Doctor and Romana escape with the neighborhood folks.
Actually, I've misspoken. It's not set in Surbiton, it's set in High Wycombe. I don't know where I got the idea that it was Surbiton, but anyway.
The next story is also set in the suburbs, so maybe that one.
Okay, so maybe I'm getting confused, but yes. So I used to live, High Wycombe is near Reading, So I used to live between Reading and High Wycombe. I didn't go to any suburbs occupied by giant spiders. But this does feel like a Russell T Davies story, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could very much see this as being like a 10th Doctor in Rose or Donna.
Yeah, completely. Yes.
Yeah, this was also one of my favorites. So Gareth Roberts writes the Fourth Doctor, Romana, and K9 so well, and he did 3 books with them. So this was it felt very breezy and fun, kind of reading it.
So next up we have Hot Ice by Christopher Bulis, who we've not read any novels by him, but he did write tons of them, like Shadow Mind, the Seventh Doctor, but he would primarily write Missing Adventures or past Doctor stories, wouldn't he? And this is the one that's set in Surbiton, as you say. So is there anything further you want to add to Mr. Bulis?
No.
Yeah, so this is the Doctor and Perry. I thought at first that this was the Sixth Doctor and Perry, in the way it's written, until there's a reference to his celery.
And his Panama hat, I think, early on, too.
But it's the celery that really kind of gives the game away.
Mm-hmm.
But they're kind of looking for... There's a neutrino pulse from suburban London. They find that it seems to be made from a house, but whilst they're kind of looking for the alien, it manages to kind of plant something in the TARDIS console room. There's also a burglar that's trying to break into the house.
Yeah, it's a interesting setup because it's like there's a burglary happening, but then there's this creature that's trying to frame the Doctor for kind of smoke out these alien priests that are pursuing him. So he knows he's being pursued, so he's trying to shift the blame, and then also take out these priests, which are like these hooded figures that float along, not unlike at the beginning of the Doctor's Apprentice, The Witch's Familiar, the Dalek creatures in that. But there's like a star drive gem that's involved, and it turns out that these floating alien priests, as well as the occupant of the house, are these like worm-like creatures that are really small. I was thinking of Captain Marvel, Shazam's nemesis, the little intelligent worm creature.
Yes.
But they're kind of in these bodies, almost functioning like a giant tesselecta from the Stephen Moffat era, where they're moving them around. And there's a lot that happens, and the Doctor and Perry get gassed in a room, and it's just the burglar manages to get away with this gem, this star drive gem that's powering all this equipment, and he tries to break it out of its casing, and it turns out it comes from this ultra cold planet. So just by being exposed to Earth temperatures, it starts evaporating. So the burglar kind of gets his comeuppance with his gem evaporating before his eyes, and then Perry gets on the phone to UNIT and calls in a cleanup squad to get rid of all the evidence. So it's
well, also it kills the burglar as well, doesn't it?
Oh, that's right. The gem does.
Yeah. So crime does not pay. Remember this.
What'd you think of this one?
I wish I could have enjoyed it more. I just did find it a little bit like it was. Not one of my favourites. I can't really put my finger on why. I think part of it was possibly I don't think the Fifth Doctor was particularly well captured.
We haven't missed your cliffhanger story yet, have we?
No.
Just checking.
No,
cool.
No, we have not.
So, shall we move on to UPVC?
Yes, by Paul Farnsworth. He's a comedy writer, so he's not done a lot of Doctor Who, though he did write quite a bit for the Doctor Appreciation Society. He's written this and a short story for a Benny anthology, Cooker Island. he used to run a website called the University of the Bleeding Obvious. But yeah, this is not my cliffhanger from from last month. That is yet to come. So this is a story that starts off with the second Doctor, Jamie and Zoe, having a knock on the TARDIS door whilst the TARDIS is in flight. And it turns out that there's a double glazing salesman standing outside. Which is different.
The Doctor forgot to hang his no soliciting sign.
Yeah. They let him in. The salesman sort of says that he's come not only with a lifetime guarantee to the windows he's trying to sell, but with a view of the customer's choice.
So like the TARDIS scanner then?
Yeah, I guess. And then we kind of cut to a little bit further along in the Doctor's timeline. We have the 7th Doctor encountering Ace as she's trying to break into a padlocked room in the TARDIS, because she doesn't think that they keep secrets from each other, which suggests she doesn't pay any attention to what goes on. Because some Doctor, if he does anything, he keeps secrets. And so he's hidden the windows in a padlocked room. And it turns out that the view that he's chosen is his childhood view of Gallifrey. So presumably the barn. Maybe
he mentions the mountains and the distance, and
and it's a view that he can never have again, he's told, which is interesting because it almost feels like the Time Wars happened, doesn't it? It's a kind of, you can easily imagine like the 10th Doctor having kind of locked away something like that, or torturing himself by coming and looking at it. But
this is written in such a way that you can headcanon and kind of draw in a lot of threads from where Doctor Who goes in the future, because it aligns very nicely, which is cool. And it's kind of a sad, reflective ending too, with Ace. And I felt the Doctor should have just been more honest with her, and why not show her the window? It's not like, unless you count Death Comes to Time as canon, she's not going to Gallifrey anytime soon. So it would have been a nice opportunity, I think, for them to bond a little bit more if he would have shown her that. Because, there's no real reason to keep it locked up apart from, him not wanting to see it. And then he talks about how he's going to try and reconfigure the TARDIS so the room's locked off entirely, so it's not even accessible from a door.
Yeah. Oh, well. Yeah. It's a sweet... It's a sweet little story, isn't it? It makes me a little bit sad that we haven't had anything else by Paul Farnsworth.
And there's the timer.
Yeah, which brings us on to Good Companions by Peter Anglides, who he wrote a couple of 8th Doctor novels, Kursal, and I can't remember the other one. And but also, as well, 20 years or so ago, he interviewed me for a job. So I was applying for an internship at IBM, and they had one of these enormous kind of like recruitment-y day things where you're being interviewed by tons of people, and like I was in this waiting room, and like he strode into the waiting room, and he called out my full name, including all my middle names, which I think was an attempt to possibly either try to throw me off or just basically because he wanted to be, to amuse himself. It was only I didn't realise who it was at the time. It was just, I was like, oh, I'm Peter. And it was only sort of like seeing a photo of him quite a few years later. Like, oh, it's that guy. Because I can't remember too many other things of that day apart from him just doing that, and there was another lady whose stomach was rumbling for the interview, and she said, "Oh, my unit does that frequently." I thought, "Your unit? This is not how humans speak." And Peter is still at IBM, I believe.
Wow.
So so if you want to go and work with a Doctor Who author, go to IBM.
And that resolves your cliffhanger from last month.
Yeah. It's not necessarily the most exciting story, but
That's really cool. So this story features Tegan, a future version of Tegan, not the same future version of Tegan we encounter in Big Finish, and as well as a future version of the Doctor who's finally ginger, and his companion Anna. And the story is written first person from Tegan's point of view.
And also, this is probably the Doctor that is Merlin in Battlefield. Because it's a similar description to what Mark Platt uses in his novelisation Battlefield. He's wearing, what's the name of it? It's an Afghan coat, isn't it? Yeah, is the Doctor. So he has an interesting costume that Anglady spends quite a bit of time just describing, because obviously we don't know what this Doctor looks like or sounds like.
And Tegan has had been in and out of like different institutions for her mental state, and she, at this point in her life, she thinks that she had made up her adventures with the Doctor, who she calls her dream doctor. And there's an incident where she meets up with this future doctor, and she goes to a play with the companion Anna, and there are actors attacking, and then there's a paradox involving a series of brooches that both Tegan and Anna are wearing. And there's quite a bit happening, and it's all told from Tegan's perspective, so we don't get necessarily a full picture of what's going on or which doctor this is. And
she then later on encounters the Doctor, but it's earlier in his timeline, and it's implied it's before he's met Anna. Yeah, he also tells Anna that he'd never abandon her, because she kind of realises, oh, hang on, you used to know this woman, and though Anna is less than convinced. So yeah, it's what did you make of it?
Wasn't one of my favorites in the collection. It seemed kind of confusing, and I wasn't tracking on which Doctor it was at first, and then it's a future Doctor. And it also wasn't, I guess I didn't like it that much because I'm more familiar with the version of Tegan that Big Finish presents. Like in the Harvest, where she comes back and meets the Fifth Doctor, or is that a fifth? Yeah, Fifth Doctor later in life. No, that might be a Seventh Doctor, but where Tegan comes back. But yeah, it's an interesting kind of possible take on what might happen, but it almost feels like there's nothing really Tegan here, and it could have just as easily have been Dodo.
Yes, you stole the name right from my mind. Yeah, this could easily have been Dodo. Yeah, because I would like to think that Tegan doesn't have a breakdown. I just, I couldn't quite see her sort of like thinking that this was all of her travels with the Doctor was a result of her imagination. I can't quite see that.
Yeah, and then how you square that with Auntie Vanessa's death in Logopolis, and it's just like, I don't know how you'd do that, but anyway.
Yeah, anyhow.
So next up we have Missing Part 2, Message in a Bottle, by Mike Tucker and Robert Perry again.
And this is another kind of enigmatic thing. It's about a bottle floating in space, and it's kind of going near a black hole, and there's a strand of red hair in it. So we assume it's Mel. And because also, isn't it in Dragonfire where she sort of says that she just kind of like chuck a bottle into space? And so she might be back on Earth by this stage. It's not. I don't think it's particularly clear as to where in her timeline this is.
Yeah, it's very short. It's like less than a page. It's just
yeah.
It's just kind of a mood piece, I think.
Yes, a moodness of sadness and
melancholy. And
or maybe just like trapped. Like she's who knows?
Yeah, because at the end the bottle falls into the black hole, so it kind of begins the spaghettification process where it's being like stretched out to eternity.
Yeah, it's an odd thing. At least it doesn't feature much of actual Mel, so that's okay.
I'm not sure how or why it ties into the other story of Mel.
No,
I mean it doesn't.
I don't think it does really. I like to think it's whilst she is travelling with Glitz, rather than her having ended back on Earth and is kind of like, oh no, I do want to escape again.
I feel it's like she sent that message before the events of like Head Games, and so it's the bottle's floating out there, but she's made it back to Earth anyway, so it's really not. It's just kind of like a throwaway, literally, thing.
Yes. Yeah.
So, shall we move on to our last story?
Yeah. Yeah, it's Femme Fatale by Paul Mars, who we did last month. So surprisingly, this is an Iris Wildtime story.
But instead of the Third Doctor and Joe, we are back with the Eighth Doctor and Sam.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah, kind of. Kind of.
So,
So this is this is an oddball story, isn't it?
and I have to admit, I read this one once and had no idea what was going on, and then I read a read a synopsis of it, and then I was like, okay, now I think I understand. So then I went back and reread it, and then it made sense. But you have to realize that there are two Doctor and Sam combos. One is the Eighth Doctor and Sam, and then the other is a fictional version of the Doctor and Sam that work for like a government agency, almost like the Avengers. That
very much like the Avengers, yes.
Where the Brigadier is called Mother, and
yes.
Iris is telling that story. So you have like this nested narrative where you have stories within stories within stories, and I think the most external story is that Sam, the real Sam Jones, and Iris are meeting in the 1930s and are talking about how Iris got the details of the story wrong when she was living in New York in the 1960s.
Yeah.
So if you understand that frame kind of going into it, it makes a lot of sense, but I have to admit, reading through it once...
a lot of sense.
Reading through it the first time, I didn't get that at all. It was kind of a head-scratcher.
Yeah. And also we've got Andy Warhol in amongst all of this.
And his assassination being a fixed point in time where...
Or the assassination attempt.
Sorry.
Yes.
From
yes.
Valerie.
Yeah, which is a true thing. So Valerie Solanas did really try to kill Andy Warhol. Yeah, so this is a genuine fixed point in time. I don't know how we can synopsize this more than what we've just said, because it's odd. It's odd. But it's good fun. I mean, I think it's something that's, I would say it's something that's worth reading, even though you may need to read it multiple times. It's just we see some quirky stuff. The Brigadier as Mother is brilliant. Mother being the character in the Avengers who tasks everybody. And then, sort of following this in Iris Wildtime's version of events, the Eighth Doctor and Sam then get sent off to a village with a beach where they have to sort of like think about what they've done. So basically, they get sent to the prisoner, don't they?
Yeah. And this features the sixth version of Iris, which is based on Barbarella. So the version of Iris we met in Verdigris, I think she regenerates in, is it the Blue Angel at the end?
Scarlet Empress, I think.
Scarlet Empress, where there's a really cool scene where she's regenerating in the vortex and basically sends the Doctor a video of her regenerating. She regenerates into Barbarella, and so that really fits with like New York in the late 1960s. Like you can see Iris kind of fitting right in with that aesthetic and crowd and the whole Warhol group in New York.
Yeah.
And we're at time.
Yeah, we're at time. Right.
Wow, so that was a whirlwind. That was 18 stories. I don't think we skipped any, did we?
No, we didn't. Some we may have wished to have. That was more short trips.
So what'd you make of that?
Yeah, bitty, I think. I mean, there's some good stuff. There's some mediocre stuff. I think I preferred short trips to more short trips. I would say, and I think the absence of a theme doesn't help it. And also, the fact that we do have so many kind of gothic-y bits, and they're all they're in a similar part of the collection. Like, oh, we've entered the Gothic period of this collection. I could have done with a little bit more variety in like where things are spread out.
Mm-hmm. I did like that this collection focused more on some of the more unusual Doctor companion combos, like the Seventh Doctor and Mel, or the Fifth Doctor and Perry, or Sarah and K9 and company. But so I did appreciate that. But I felt that, and I hear you about the variety and all of that. A lot of haunted houses, and I guess I would say that I feel like there were fewer stinkers in this collection than in the first short trips, so I might slightly prefer this one to the previous one. I think I gave the original short trips collection a 5 out of 10. I think I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10, but still kind of in that middle of the range, like a mixed bag sort of thing. There are some really good gems in here.
Yeah.
I would say like certainly the Paul Leonard story, and then the Gareth Roberts story and the Paul Mars story are standouts for me.
Yeah, and the Dave McKinsey as well. For me. But yeah, I think I might. I was going to say 5. I think I'll say 6, which I think was what I said last time for short trips. So yeah, I mean, I think we do have some highs here. Quite a few of us are saying sort of like, well, yeah, I guess this is something I could spend my life reading little bits of, but I'm not entirely convinced that it's all necessarily a good investment of my time.
I do like that. So there's one more short trips collection that the BBC did, and then Big Finish took the license from there, and I think they put out 28 or 29 volumes, and their short trips are more focused around particular themes like life science or steel roofs.
Prague.
Yeah. Destination Prague, yeah.
Yes, yeah. Maybe I might choose that if I decide to go to Prague. But at the moment, I'm not travelling anywhere outside of the UK until... Dear listener, you may know by the time you hear this how Brexit is panning out. But right now, I was like, I have no idea. I'm staying put.
Sheltering in place for the moment.
Yes, growing my vegetables. And just... Oh, dearie dear. And, waiting for the dystopia to kick in.
Well, that was more short trips.
Yes, indeed it was. Right.
Shall we go on to listener mail?
Yes, let's.
You can email us at andwbcpodcast@gmail.com with any questions or comments, and send us an email and we might read your thoughts out on our next episode. We have one email this month from listener Sasha.
Ooh, cool.
They write, and I'm not sure the gender, but so I'll just go with
let's go with
they. So listener Sasha writes, I listened to Verity and Radio Free Scaro and found your podcast in the related recommended section.
Ooh!
I don't read...
That's exciting.
It is.
That is exciting.
It is. I don't read the book every month, but I like that you recap the story so everyone can follow along. Oh, there's something in parentheses here. Although I might check out the online version of Who Killed Kennedy after listening to that episode. I became a fan of the show during David Tennant's first season, and I hope you review The Stone Rose for your next 10th Doctor pick. Keep up the great work and happy reading, Sasha.
Cool.
Well, I don't know when we're going to get around to the 10th Doctor again, but that's definitely one that's been in my mind. There's a few others that I'm considering, but that's definitely heard that one a few times. Yeah. Well, thank you, Sasha. I appreciate the kind comments. Chris, what about on the Facebook side?
So Facebook side, we've had likes from kind of Keith. Also, Amy McLaughlin was wanting to access the old show's Damaged Goods episode, which you very kindly put in her direction. And our dear old friend of the show, Shag Matthews, was very excited about the fact that Paul Mars was incredibly nice about our episode sort of last month about verdigris.
Yeah, he tweeted. Thank you for this blast from the past. I really loved the dramatic reading of the supermarket sequence. Very nice. This book's not forgotten.
Yeah, it's a good fun book, isn't it?
Yeah, thanks, Paul, for listening to our episode, and thanks for writing a great book for us to review.
Yeah.
And thanks, Shag, for your comment there and for doing the dramatic reading again. And, of course, listeners can listen to Shag on his Fire and Water podcast network.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We've got a couple of other tweets in addition to Paul's, which, again, we were very excited about. Andy writes about verdigris. Love this book. This podcast is going to be my commute to work tomorrow. Hopefully it was long enough for your return trip too, otherwise that's a really long commute. Mark Dodick writes, Verdigris has moved up his list of books that are long overdue to be read. Keith writes, love this book. Paul Mars' writing always brings some welcome joy to the book series. I'm finally catching up with your podcast and I'm enjoying reading them. Thanks. Cool. Ken Major writes, it's been 13 years since he's read Verdigris, but he thoroughly enjoyed rereading it with us. He's not seen all the Pertwee episodes on DVD when he had previously read it, so he got all the references this time.
Mm-hmm.
Iris reminds him of River Song's opposite. Such a fun character. Now he wants to revisit more of the past Doctor adventures. I don't know that I would say Iris is River Song's opposite, because I think they share quite a bit of irreverence, but I can definitely see them being kind of bookends related in some way. A couple more tweets. Jacob Knowles writes, he doesn't want to be a nuisance, but asks if we can please re-upload episodes 1 through 40 of the original book club podcast because he didn't get a chance to download them yet. So, yes, at some point in the next couple months, I will re-upload them again. So be sure to follow our Twitter account for the link and the announcement. And go and get the last 20 episodes while you can, if you haven't already.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, if you're looking for more podcasts to listen to, check out Fiction Paradox. They mentioned us on a recent episode. They're reading all of the Eighth Doctor books in order and are podcasting that. Thanks for the shout out there. Appreciate it.
Yes. No, thank you.
And then just a reminder to please leave our show a review on iTunes or Apple Podcasts. Or wherever you get your podcasts. We've had a couple of really kind reviews recently, both from Shag and Launchpad Comics on the US side, so thank you for those.
Yep, and also from 50DW50 on the UK side. And apologies if you are outside of the UK and American markets, because we might not necessarily see them due to the magical way in which Apple works. Every review really does help, and it does. The more we get, the more likely we'll be to be in the you may also like bit when people are looking at Verity and RFS. So, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
More listeners is a good thing.
For sure.
Yes.
So, Chris, what are we going to be reading next month? I have no idea whatsoever, so I'm kind of nervous.
Well, I decided that I wanted to do a TARDIS crew that we've not done a novel of before.
Okay.
I also wanted to do a female author.
Okay.
And I also, as well, wanted to do one set in history. And one of my comfort foods is kind of like ancient Rome. So we're doing the Stone Rose.
Oh! Wow.
Yes, this is why I went quiet when
Sasha will be happy then.
When Sasha was saying, "Oh yeah, no, I'd like you to do Stone Rose." I was like, "Yeah, that's what we're doing." But this isn't the bit where I say that.
Have we done a?
No, we've not done a 10th Doctor and Rose novel. No, because we've done 10th Doctor and Martha.
That's right. Yeah,
with the story of Martha,
and we haven't done a separate 10th Doctor one this cycle yet, have we?
No.
Okay.
No, we have not.
Wow.
So yeah.
Cool. I'm excited. Is that one on audio? So, I don't know.
It's well, it's I don't know if it's on Audible, but it was narrated by David Tennant, who I think he's got some Doctor Who connections.
I think we'll have to check. Because I'm not sure whether or not at some point they started making the audios unabridged versus abridged. So I'll check that out to see if that's an unabridged version or not. But I might opt for the audio version this time just to change it up a bit. But very cool.
It's on Kindle as well, so it's easy to get hold of. Certainly in the UK, I think most libraries have a copy of it. And also, as well, the Radio Times had a deal, about 12, 13 years ago, where you could get the Stone Rose and you could kind of like apply for it. So there's a lot of second-hand shops have copies of it kind of kicking around like the audio version, so on CD. So, hopefully this would be one that people can easily get, having had 2 books on the trot that don't fall into that category.
Oh, an abridged version of The Stone Rose read by David Tennant released in July 2006. Okay, so that means I won't listen to it so I can read the whole story. So if you go into like, here's the subplot, and I'll be like, what's that?
Who are these people?
Cool.
But yes.
Cool. Well, that's a great pick. I'm excited to read it. I have one other 10th Doctor book that I'm very much wanting to read at some point, but that might have to wait for next round.
Yeah.
All right. Well, until next month, I've been Matt in Minnesota.
Chris in South London. Happy reading.
for listening to the all-new adventures of the Doctor Who Book Club podcast. Special thanks to George C. Music for use of their song, Doctor Who Theme, Swing Jazz Version. You can follow us on Twitter at ANDWBC Podcast and like us on Facebook. You can support the show by leaving us a rating and review on iTunes. You can contact the show by emailing your thoughts to andwbcpodcast@gmail.com. And until next month, happy reading.
But yeah, so I'm kind of conscious that I've picked the Third Doctor, which I think is probably one of my least favourites of the classic period, and now the 10th Doctor, who's my least favourite of the modern era.
Well, that's good though. Like you kind of get to pick the least offensive of your least favorite.
Yes, yeah. It's like when you have Fourth Doctor, like I will not go for a leader book. I will just.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. That'll be fun.
St Pancras Station has been in the news.
Oh, how so?
Because on Friday the 29th of March, which was the day that we'd been long told by our lovely Prime Minister that we were going to leave the EU, and we failed to do so, a pro-Brexit campaigner decided to climb up onto the roof of St Pancras, wrapped in an England flag, and just stay there. And so he shut down all of the Eurostar connections from London to Paris. Because the police didn't know what he was doing.
Huh. I did not hear about that, but wow.
No, there's lots of crazy stuff. I mean, at least you know what organisations your country's going to be a member of this time next month. So, yeah. Oh, God.
Okay, well, on that note, goodbye and good luck.
Yes, thank you.